Welcome to Teabaggers, the podcast where golf meets a whole new level of attitude. I'm Dale Smedley, co-founder of Golf Gods, and I'm here to bring you behind the scenes of the brand, the sport, and the people who make golf more than just a game.
That's right. If you're here for stuffy country club talk, you might be in the wrong place. I'm Shaun Trevelyan, mostly referred to as Bear, the co-founder of Golf Gods. And if you love golf and don't take life too seriously, then grab a drink, kick back, and join us for some stories, laughs, and maybe a few hot takes.
In this podcast, we're digging into all things Golf Gods, from the crazy idea that started it all to the wins, the struggles, and everything in between. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
So whether you're a weekend warrior or just here for the banter, welcome to Teabaggers, where golf is life, but not too serious.
Let's tee it up. Welcome back to Teabaggers episode 4. I've got my co-host Shaun Trevelyan by my side. And Shaun, what are we... got any feedback on the first 3 episodes or?
Plenty of positive feedback. Everyone was interested in the litigation one, which was no surprise. But
yeah, we thought that one might prick a few ears.
It did, yeah. But no, it's been a good start and looking forward to diving into episode 4, Dale.
Yeah, in episode 4, we're going to cover a few things. One of our fascinations around golf is the difference between US golf and Australian golf. So we're going to cover a bit of our experience there. One of the things that's been floating around on social media that's been quite a talked about topic is the golf event ticketing prices.
Yep.
And as we know, everything's exploding there. So we'll cover that. Greg Norman getting replaced as the CEO of LIV Golf. We're going to cover the WA Open in Australia that finished yesterday. Luke Kwon, cover him and how he went in the Asia Tour. Joel Dahmen, or however you pronounce his name, and his absolute horrendous decision by himself or his caddy to carry some extra clubs. And then Hannah Green, who's absolutely on a tear in the LPGA. So I think we get stuck straight into it. Golf courses in the US versus Australia, what do you know about that, Bear?
Well, we've played quite a few in Australia together, and I will say that probably all of my golf has been played with you, so my experience is certainly yours as well. We've had the opportunity to play a number of courses in Phoenix, California and Florida in the US, and we've played quite a few courses here in Australia. So number of differences which we've certainly experienced over the journey. Main thing that you find with Australian courses, obviously they're membership owned. So decisions and processes are made by members effectively.
And so they're basically run by a board to oversee all those decisions, and it goes to a board, the members have a vote and things like that. So as you said, very hard to get things approved quickly.
We've certainly had plenty of experience with trying to get events organised or any type of proposals of the courses in Australia, and a little bit of the red tape. Just due to the ownership process.
It's literally nearly impossible unless you're in the general manager's pocket or very tight friendship of things. So definitely one of the things we noticed, the membership in Australia and how that's run is very hard to get it done. Where in America, not majority, a lot of the courses are privately owned. So they'll have one ownership person, a group, and they'll own the facility, the golf course, the bar, the pro shop, even any residential sort of places or accommodation that's on property and things like that. They'll actually own the whole lot. Where in Australia, you've got someone else running the pro shop that's not owned by the ownership of the golf course or the golf club. The bar can sometimes be owned by someone else. What other things do you...
Well, I guess, covering that, when we think about the events we've held over the years, it's a good opportunity to sort of describe where you hold an event in the USA, there's usually one person that can just make the decisions. And they can just tell the hospitality section of the business, this is what's happening. They can tell the food section, this is what's happening. Whereas we hold an event in a course in Australia, and you often find that the board are happy with that, but the hospitality don't like that, the pro shop don't like that, and so you
and everyone wants to make their cut,
which is fine too. But you end up negotiating with 3 entities in Australia, whereas dealing with the USA courses, you can just get approval from the head of the course, and then that's what goes.
So much easier to deal with, especially for those corporate events and things like that. One of the things I've always said for a long time is that I believe any sort of managing director or general manager, whatever you want to call them, in Australia should go to America, go and hang out at some of the courses, work with some of the owners over there, and just see how it's done, because the benefit they would have in bringing all that sort of stuff to Australia would be unbelievable.
I'm glad we've got you on camera with that, Dale, because it's something you've repeated for a long time and for very good reason.
And I've told plenty of managing directors that you have to do it. Their first thing is, where does the money come from? I'm like, well, the club will pay for it. There's plenty of money, but the benefit of bringing back those ideas and seeing how golf courses are actually run as a business over there would be astronomically beneficial for any course over here in Australia. So we've got a list of things that we often notice is very different. One of the first ones is the kart barn guys. I don't remember going to a course here where there's a team of kart barn guys that will greet you when you come, get your cart set up, get your clubs on your cart, and get you away. And then those guys will often greet you at the end, won't they?
Yep. They'll take your bag off everything, and
they'll take your bag, clean your clubs, spin on them, do whatever. And then you probably have to slip them a $5 or a $10 or something there for the tipping service in America. One of the other ones was the drinks cart. This is one of your favourite pet peeves, so I'll let you go for a little.
It just feels like when you play in Australian courses, they're just never around, and if they are, it's obviously the USA is set up for hospitality. In Australia, it's a different model, but I still think that it's a no-brainer when you have 300 or 400 people on a golf course to offer, even if it's water or sandwiches or chocolate bars, of course, cold beer, but who doesn't want something after 4 or 5 hours of being on a golf course? To me, it's just an absolute no-brainer.
And once again, that's the service-based side of things. And we've heard plenty of board members on golf courses say, the cart doesn't make any money, no one buys anything, no one does this. It's like, it doesn't also always have to be a money-driven venture. It can be a service-based thing where even if you broke even, but the members are happy and getting extra thing, then shouldn't that be suffice?
You would think, but I think as well you're conditioned here not to spend because there's never carts. So
that's right.
People will take their own water and their own sandwiches because they know there's no chance of getting it. And if, of course, were to condition members and guests that you're always going to have a service here, I think that eventually over time they would be conditioned to know we don't have to take nothing to this course because we'll be able to get it. So.
And don't get us wrong, there are definitely courses that got their drinks carts out there and probably got that little system down pat and working well. But definitely on majority of the courses, there's often no drinks cart. And then leading into that is the halfway hut. We've seen online, and we can probably dig some up of like the quality of halfway huts in America. I saw one that's actually a drive-through one the other day where you actually just drive through in your cart, you pick up what you want and you keep going. I thought that was next level.
Yeah, well, when we got to play Palm National in West Palm Beach,
Florida.
I think the 7th tee, there's the menu on a phone. You can ring the halfway hut and tell them what you want. You get to 9 or 10 tee and your food's ready. So there's no delay. It's,
and that's quite
seamless.
common to see that you can actually just ring up, book it, be on your bike.
Shout out to Mikey as well. Legend of a bloke out there.
He is. We very rarely have halfway huts, and if we do, the majority of time they're not open.
No, that's true.
So they're a great toilet block, basically. But that's about it. The other thing, we've used these at our events, is the Caddy Services. You want to run us through your experience with caddies? And
so again, in the USA, there's always opportunities to hire a caddy, or even for golf days, there's services, caddy girls, platinum tees, where you can hire them for the day. And it's just
these girls are actually good at. They're not
excellent.
Like elite golfers, but they're fun. They'll help you. They know the course.
They know the distances. They know club recommendations. They're knowledgeable as well as helpful. You don't experience that here. One place we did experience it, Dale, and it's probably a good way to discuss how a private course we have played in Australia is Barn Bugle.
Yes, Barn Bugle. Well, you probably would have heard of that. Well, it's not a little course. It's a big facility down in Tasmania. There. And
so they actually had a caddy service there.
They did. I'm questionable whether they just brought that bloke on to look after us so we didn't get into too much trouble, or whether they actually offer that service to everybody else.
He did a good job. There might be a video or two on YouTube about that trip, but we can get into that another time. But
there's definitely some underground stories we might have to unravel on the podcast at a later date.
So, but Caddy Services, there's obviously the starter in the USA, someone that will tell you what's happening out on the course, where to go, what time you need to be aiming for, that type of thing, and then obviously
even just telling you about the conditions, what to look out for, and things like that. That's one thing. Very rarely would you see a starter on an Australian course.
No.
But even we played what was the #1 public course in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes,
and even that had a starter. So, and I can tell you what, it wasn't the #1 course. It was absolute catfished by the photos and the
It was an incredibly well marketed website that we booked
for
it on.
a very average goat track.
Yeah. However, they had a course marshal. So
that's right. And then one of the other ones, I've never actually played in it, but a member guest event.
Yep.
How Australia courses, and especially the ones we played, and yes, there might be some courses that do offer it, but how are member guest events not a thing in Australia?
It's all you hear about from people in the USA.
They're the best events.
They've got a member guest coming up.
Yep.
It's a big thing for them, and we just don't do it here.
Nah, so if any of our managing directors are around listening to this podcast, put on a member guest. Get some guests in. They might want a membership. Who knows? But those events seem really, really fun. And the one we went to at Trump International in West Palm Beach, they were setting up that was an extravagant event, wasn't it?
They were pumped for it. The staff were pumped. They were excited to have the guests out there.
Yep. So very good. So a couple of the sort of stats we pulled out when we were doing a little bit of research for our podcast today around the difference in courses. Obviously, the population out of the US and Australia is completely different. But one stat we pulled out was there's approximately 15,000 courses in America, and there's approximately 1,500 courses in Australia.
What's the population difference is nearly 20 times, isn't it?
I think we've got nearly 30 million. They've got 350, so not quite.
So bad, but yeah, we're still punching above.
But as I said, in America, pretty much where you would have thought, Florida, California, Texas, and New York are the main contributors of golf course. And then one final stat that I loved was within the golf, the golf courses and the broader golf community in America, $84 billion is brought into the economy through golf. In little old Australia, the golf courses contribute $3 billion annually to the economy.
That's a massive change.
That shows that the corporate days over there, the charity days, all of those sort of things, it's just on another level.
It certainly is, yeah.
So in saying that, if you hadn't had a chance to go over and play some courses in America, definitely get over there. Our favourite place is Arizona, Scottsdale. There is absolutely courses galore, right from your stock standard public course, which is they're really, really good, all the way up to your top tier courses like Troon North and Wickapar and things, which we've been lucky enough to play. So leading into that what we wanted to talk about was ticket prices.
Yes. So obviously the Ryder Cup ticket prices got released late last week for the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, starting from $750 a day for a general admission pass.
Now, $750 for a general admission pass.
And it's all inclusive of food and non-alcoholic beverages. So a
couple of waters
and a sandwich or two on top of that ticket.
That seems extremely high to me. But I have done a little bit more digging into some other ticketing sporting prices. And when we rattle off some of these other prices, it's probably actually not too bad. So I think there is a hospitality. So a practice session at the Ryder Cup this year is $423. Pretty much most of the tickets are already sold out. So they probably got their ticketing priced pretty good. There's some stats from Rome last year. Was it last year or the year 2 years ago?
Last year in Rome, Was
it, So it's doubled since then. And then since Whistling Straits, it's 4 times.
And that was 2021, I think.
So pre-COVID, well, just as COVID was starting, it's gone 4 times for the Ryder Cup. Now, that's one of my bucket list things. I would be happy paying that amount of money for that event. I don't know if I would go 2 or 3 times for that.
But I think, as you say, it's definitely the premier golf event at the moment. It really excites the crowd. There's a lot of crowd atmosphere.
Bit of the soccer banter sort of chat. What are they chanting?
Chanting and a real
stuff.
Combative sort of nature, which you don't often see in PGA Tour golf, at least. So it is a bucket list item, and it would be worth its money, I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm paying that, but there is a lot of talk online that it is getting really, really expensive. But I would probably fork out for that experience. So we just did some other prices for some other events. We did look at the Masters, and although the Masters is a lottery system, so you can't actually just go and buy the ticket. You do have to go in a lottery, and I have been unlucky 2 years in it, the last 2 years that I've been doing it. It was around about $140. But do you know what the secondary market on those $140 are fetching?
Haven't looked at it.
Up around $4,000 US. So if you get one of the lottery tickets and get 140 and then hold on to it for the final day, you can probably get a lazy little, $3,800.
I'm surprised they allow a secondary market of tickets there and they don't sue people for doing that.
Probably. They've got
a background for it. But it shows the value, doesn't it? $4,000 US for a final day. And I think most real big golf fans would love to be there on a Sunday at Masters at Augusta. So makes sense.
That's it. But then quickly, just touching on the hospitality for the Masters, you've got the Masters experience with venues like the Berkman's Place venue, which is around $6,000. You've got the map and flag package at the Masters, which was last year was $17,000. So pretty steep. I know there's plenty of people in America that probably got that sort of money and they have no trouble selling those tickets, but it's probably a little bit out of my reach.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah. So we have been lucky enough to do a couple of the major events. As you mentioned, with the waste management in Phoenix. We've done that 4 or 5 times. Last year when we went, or this year in February we bought secondary supplied tickets because we didn't want to miss out. Hole 16 on a Saturday was $2,000 US.
Yep.
There was these seats. I'll let you explain the seats because we did have some friends that somehow magically got to sit in these seats.
So we were with them earlier in the week and they told us they were going. They didn't say where, but we'll be able to hopefully dig up a photo and show where they were. It was the tee box at 16 on the grounds right near the players, and according to them it was 40.
Well, I think it was going around like the days before on a couple of the social media sites. So it was $43,000 the
US,
ticket.
Yeah,
US. So
crazy.
That's what a lazy $65,000 Australian. Yeah. And anyway, so I don't know how our friends got these tickets, but I want one next year.
Yeah,
so
they kept it quiet from us, that's for sure.
They did. So you've got tickets from like general hospitality tickets, which includes your drinks and things like that, for around $2,000 up to about $43,000. We did do the players' hospitality in 2022 or 23. 23.
Yep.
That was $1,400 US.
Yeah.
What was your feeling around those tickets?
Yeah, so I mean, the players itself was off the back of having been to Waste Management a number of times, and the players being the 5th major. We sort of expected a fun environment, and it was actually a very, very quiet environment.
It was. We were expecting
very professional golf
environment.
We were expecting a little bit of waste management vibe. That wasn't to be, but hole 16 we were on right behind.
Hole 18. Oh, 17.
Was it?
With the players?
Was it hole 17?
Sawgrass, wasn't it? Hole 17? It's not hole 18.
It's definitely not 18.
No, it's hole 17.
Green. Yeah, the Island Green. But it was right behind the tee, so it was a good spot.
Good spot.
Really good
viewing.
Spot. The stand wasn't busy, so the atmosphere wasn't huge within that.
We did sneak into a little, we did pay for it, we did sneak into a little international section, wasn't it? It was something around any of those. But anyway, it was very quiet. It was probably half the thing. Easy to get a seat, easy to get a drink, but the atmosphere probably wasn't what we were looking for.
Within the suite. However, if you were over around by the Island Green itself, just in the GA there, that looked like it was up and about. But much quieter atmosphere there at the players.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one of the other events we've done, obviously in our hometown, LIV Golf Adelaide. Just to compare pricing on that, we have done the Cellar Door, which is the hole 12 party hole, probably the top of the range hospitality package right behind the green there. And we paid $1,400 Australian, which is around $900 US.
Yep. And probably similar atmosphere in terms of it being a little bit more subdued in the Cellar Door on that party hole, whereas the rest of that party hole was pumping.
It was. And it was probably just the clientele that was paying $1,400 a ticket, probably aren't the young rowdy
there was
ones.
A lot of corporate people in that area, which was still fun.
Yeah. But once again, it does show that, golf these days, to go actually and watch the pros in the hospitality sections is an expensive outing.
Yep. Well, even with the Ryder Cup, for a volunteer, it's $350 US to be a volunteer at the Ryder Cup. At Bethpage. So that's the privilege you pay just to help them set the course up. I mean, you obviously get access everywhere, but
it's probably not a bad price.
I think that's more than twice the price of the last major event at Bethpage Black, which was 2019 PGA Championship. So
tickets for golf is getting expensive.
Yep.
We've worked that out. Just in comparison to some other major US sporting events, we've got Major League Baseball with the playoffs at the moment. Standard ticket, $100 to $300. Hospitality can range anywhere between $500 to $1,000 in the upper seats.
Yep.
We've got NBA playoffs starting around $400, but can quickly increase up to $20,000 for close to the court. NFL playoffs, the hospitality basic package is around $5,000, but anywhere to the top experience up to $30,000. So you can see the other sporting events, it's astronomically more expensive there. So in saying that, when you overlook all the sporting events and the pricing, the ticketing's probably fairly fair.
It's pretty good, and if you're a golf fan, it's the one you want to be at. So no issues there.
Excellent. So awesome. All right, well, moving on. Our next topic is Greg Norman and LIV, and we've had a little bit to do with LIV Golf, especially being in Adelaide, and we've met Greg a few times, had the pleasure there. Run me through what you know about LIV Golf and Greg Norman.
Yeah, well, since the day he was appointed, there's been rumours that the Saudi Arabia investment fund are looking to get rid of him. It's a constant rumour that continually comes up, and as of today, he's still the CEO and the commissioner. So it's been reported last week by it was the Sports Business Journal that they're investigating for a new CEO again. I'll believe it when I see it, because clearly LIV's established itself very well and is moving in the right direction with Greg at the helm. So I'm not sure I believe the rumours. I'll, again, wait and see. When it happens, it happens. Until then, I feel like it just pops up all the time.
It does, doesn't it? It just sort of goes in and out and things like that. But they have the PIF or PIF, whatever you want to call them. They've engaged with a London-based executive called Odeger's Birdson. I probably pronounced that terribly wrong. But they hired the sporting director for Newcastle United, and you're more of the soccer fan. And so the PIF, they own Newcastle as well.
That's correct, So they've gone to this same agency, apparently, to try and seek out a new...
And how do Newcastle United travel?
They're 8th on the Premier League at the moment, as it stands, so not too bad. They are well invested, though, so
got plenty of money.
I'm not sure if they... I think they're doing okay, considering.
And we haven't really heard too much about who they're targeting to try and replace Greg. And, off the top of my head, I don't really know too many people that are going to really want to take that role on, because I reckon there's a fair bit of, stuff going on in the background that you would have to put up with and things like that. But they have an early candidate. Now, I don't know how far this is down the track or what's going on, but Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, he's touted as one of the possible things. And just doing a quick research on him, since 2022, he's been the commissioner of the Big 12 Conference. He used to be the CEO of Rock Nation, a full-service entertainment company founded by Jay-Z, and he had a long tenure as CEO of the Brooklyn Nets. So
fair resume
there. And by all reports, very good at driving major business initiatives and securing high-profile sponsorship. So I believe those two are pretty high priorities for LIV, because things like sponsorship will then drive TV rights, and that's really what they need right now, is a big TV rights thing to really just make sure we can get access to watching the golf.
Yeah, and maybe it was that Greg was the man to found it and not found it, but be the initial CEO to get it running, to break into the golf market, and maybe they need someone from outside of a golf background to drive those points that you made. So time will tell.
Absolutely. So keep an eye out for what happens there with LIV Golf and Greg Norman. I'm on Shaun's side, where I'm not going to hold my breath for this to happen in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah, well, on that note, Dale, why don't we do a little bit of coverage of what's been happening in the golf world more recently in terms of the last week or so with some events. So
yeah, absolutely. I was actually at home yesterday watching the WA Open. So our international viewers, this is the Australian PGA Tour that we're talking about in Western Australia. I think it's probably maybe event 4 or 5, so early in the season here. And we just noticed some absolutely crazy things.
They unfortunately copped some bad conditions.
It was terrible weather.
It was terrible conditions.
On the last day.
And the event was won by Elvis Smiley, a 22-year-old who's been mentored by Cam Smith.
Yep,
so
up and comer. So watch out for him. He's going to break into one of the big tours soon.
A Golf Gods, one of our men, Jack Carter, a long-time friend of Golf Gods, came tied with him, made the playoff.
Yep, into a playoff.
But there was the three of them that last round, the two of them and Curtis Luck, and a couple of stops with the rain, and then there's some footage we can put up on the screen of hole 17 that they had to squeegee clear for the boys to putt, and it was like a scene from Caddyshack. It was just, there's about 10 of them sweeping the green. They needed to get the event done because they're moving to Adelaide today for the next event, so I understand why they had to wrap it up, but it was pretty hard on the boys.
So just to paint the picture, you can imagine you're playing for a humongous purse, probably a couple $100,000 for that event, and you are basically 3 holes to go. It's 3 people all within one shot of each other, and the green is basically covered with water.
Yep.
You're waiting to putt. So Curtis, I feel, was the most hard done by.
He was.
On 17, I think was just off the green but had to putt and was probably 20 metres away from the hole. He's had just to watch someone sweep
a group of them
sweep the green right in front of him. So as you imagine, as a golfer, you're like, what the hell is this going to do? Very hard to read.
Yep.
You know, if people take one little step over your line, there's uproar in golf. So to have someone sweeping the green like that is unbelievable. And he's 3-putted, basically put him out of the runnings for the thing on 17.
Yeah.
And it basically left it up to Smiley and Jack to sort of finish off. And 18, Jack's put it to win a foot. One of the shots of the day, which we're definitely going to show you that.
Yeah, it was from the rain stopping, the wind was howling. You can see in the footage the flag stickers.
It's just bent over,
and he's plunked it right in there and made the birdie putt to make the
playoff. Unfortunately, gone and put it right into the trees off the tee. Smiley's put it straight down the middle and then put it within a foot, birdied the last and taken it. So keep an eye out for Elvis Smiley. He's probably got the best name in golf.
That's great, yeah.
Absolutely congratulations to his parents.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a good call. But also Jack, course record on Thursday too. So
he was on fire. All the best to Jack in the coming weeks. He's definitely one of our boys. So... Okay, so that's one of the Australian events. One of the other things that we're seeing a lot of attention online is Luke Kwon.
Yes, Luke Kwon. He's up and about. He won the PGA Tour Creator Classic, which was held
background story on him. He Korean-born YouTuber. He went with the good guys and started making some YouTube videos, and then slowly did move away from the YouTube side of things and now trying to get back into a professional level of something, and won the Creator Classic, which led him onto an Asian Tour event.
Yes, yep. So he played the Black Mountain Championship on the weekend, which our sponsored athlete Lockie Barker also was in.
Yep.
And Luke made the cut. He finished tie for 65, and I think it's the top money winner on that event makes LIV Golf or something along those lines.
On the Asian Tour.
On this part of the international series.
Yep.
So, he's gone from YouTube golfer to winning a PGA Creator Classic to now on the Asian Tour.
Yeah, so well done. So be interested to just follow Luke Kwon. Apparently, from all reports, absolute awesome swing, great golfer. Interesting to see how guys can come from YouTube and still be at a level where they can nearly compete on the tour. So if he's going to concentrate on that, all the best to him, and we look forward to following his career over the next few years.
And I mean, if he can do it, there's hope for you yet, Dale.
The next Creator Classic, me and Fat Perez. So well done to Luke. Now, just going to finish off with a couple little points. Actually, we'll touch on Hannah Green.
All right, good.
Hannah Green, LPGA Tour player, Australian.
Yep.
Tell me about her.
So she's won her 3rd event this year.
Yep.
It's the first Australian since Carrie Webb in 2006 to win 3 LPGA events in a year.
Yep.
So she's on fire. She went into the event 8th. And as the rankings get released after this, she should be in the top 5. So she is on fire.
Who is the number one? I'm throwing you under the bus here. We haven't researched this, but...
I didn't research that. I think Lydia Ko might be back up there.
Okay.
Or Corder, maybe?
Nelly Corder, yes, I
actually.
reckon you're right. Nelly Corder, I think, which...
I think Lydia's won 3 times this year as well, though. I believe. So, yeah, but awesome for Hannah, good Aussie golfer, and hope to see her climb that
Smash
peak.
it out. So I reckon she's probably got another couple more wins in this season, so that would be fantastic to see. One of the big stories this year, this week in golf that we didn't, I just still can't believe it, is the Joel Dahmen story.
Yeah, I mean, how in this day and age you can be a professional sportsman or sportswoman.
You got a full team around you.
And take the wrong equipment. I mean, could you imagine going to an NFL game as a player and you've rocked up with a cycling helmet and you're like, oh, I'll just wear a cycling helmet out there.
Yeah, they're not going to like that, are they?
You're not going to do it. I just can't believe that there isn't a better protocol around.
So just so for people that don't know, explain to them what actually happened.
Right, so you're allowed 14 clubs in your golf bag for a professional event. Now, all pros will travel with maybe 15, 16, 17. They always have extras. They're working on their putting, so they've got 2 putters or whatnot. Joel's walked out there, and on the 4th hole, they've figured out he has 2 4-irons in his bag.
Caddy's getting fired.
I don't know who to blame. I mean, the caddy's probably responsible for the equipment, but between the two of them, you surely don't take extra clubs. He's ranked, I think it's 124th in the FedEx Cup. Only 125 get through to the next season. And
so this is crucial.
4-shot penalty. He withdrew the event. It could cost him his PGA Tour card. So I feel bad for him, but at the same time, you just cannot not have the right equipment as a professional. You just can't do it.
Nah, and they would know that right from junior golf and things like that to check.
Did you ever forget your footy shorts when you went and played a game of footy?
Oh, probably, maybe a couple of times.
You had someone to borrow them off, though. You still wore them on the field. You didn't run out in your jocks. No, you wore footy shorts. So caddies and golfers, please, just switch on when you're out there and make sure you got the right equipment, right? I can't believe it.
Yeah, so if that costs him his PGA...
cares, okay? I care about you guys. Just think about what you're doing out there.
Got that off your chest?
I do, feel better.
Good.
A little.
All right, we might see a bit more of Bear's rants or something in later episodes there. He's really passionate about getting your equipment right. We better not make that mistake at the WebEx Pro-Am on Wednesday that we're playing in.
We are.
So let's keep we'll make sure we'll feed that on the social, so you'll get a bit of a glimpse. We'll report back on it next week, but just trust. Do not take an extra club.
Trust the process, Dale. We've gone 1-3 in the LIV Pro-Am in season 1 and played together. And we were the clubhouse leaders, but we teed off first. So Anthony Kim. So we've got a good record in Pro-Ams. We'll see how we go on Wednesday.
That's it. So anyway, that's a wrap for episode 4 of Teabaggers. Make sure you comment and tell us some feedback. Tell us what you like hearing. Tell us what you don't like hearing. And if you love Bear's rants, make sure you get around him at beargolfgods.com. Go and give him some things to rant about, because I want to hear more of these. So that's a wrap. Thanks for listening. We'll
subscribe, tune in all the available podcasts, and Teabaggers. We'll see you next episode.
Let's tee it up.